This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of August 26th, 2022. I'm Alex Brown. The Junior League of Indianapolis announced this month it is shifting its focus to provide more volunteer and charitable support to the thousands of children in central Indiana living in foster or kinship care. President Stephanie Flitner says the services are particularly needed for those about to leave the foster system.
Statistically, as children age out of the foster system, about 20% of them become instantly homeless. So when we say needs, we're literally talking basic human needs. On top of that, within 5 years, only about half of them will have found gainful employment.
She says JLI aims to provide community grants to other nonprofits throughout central Indiana that already work with foster youth and create more opportunities for them. It's been just over a year since Radius Indiana launched Choose Southern Indiana to attract remote workers to Du Bois and Orange counties. The organization says the program has provided $135,000 in relocation packages to 27 new residents and their families as an incentive to move to the region. Since the launch, Davies and Greene counties have joined the effort. A former Bear Creek Township trustee in Jay County has been sentenced to nearly 2 years in prison after pleading guilty to wire fraud. Katina Miller of Montpelier was accused of embezzling nearly $90,000 in public money from the township for her own personal use. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media delivers business news covering central Indiana and the entire state. The Indianapolis Business Journal and Inside Indiana Business are now part of the same family. Look to the IBJ for in-depth coverage of central Indiana's business community and tap into Inside Indiana Business for stories that extend throughout Indiana. 2 resources, unlimited business insights that help you stay informed and get ahead. Learn more at ibj.com and insideindianabusiness.com.
Language services, affordable housing, and access to jobs are among the top needs of Indiana's growing refugee population, according to a new report published this week.
Researchers at IU Center for Research on Inclusion and Social Policy used interviews with local refugees and employees at refugee-serving agencies in Indiana to generate the report, which intends to identify service gaps and provide policy recommendations. Research analyzed through the policy brief shows the barriers both groups face are often intertwined. The report follows an influx of Afghan refugees that came to Indiana last year after escaping a country once again ruled by Taliban militants. Indiana is home to about 28,000 resettled refugees. Indiana's refugee population encounters multiple barriers to self-sufficiency, according to the report, including learning a new language, finding affordable housing, securing stable jobs, navigating healthcare, finding reliable transportation, and having coordinated social support systems where they live. Increased government funding was a top solution identified by the research team, which added access to education and vocational training should be a priority. You can connect to the full report at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Wes Mills, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Parents blasted Indianapolis Public Schools on Thursday night over what they say is a lack of information surrounding the district's plan to potentially close or consolidate schools. IPS says Rebuilding Stronger aims to increase quality programs to underserved children of color while cutting costs to address declining enrollment. IPS hasn't shared the plan but hinted at possible changes, including breaking up K-8 schools into grades K-5 and 6-8 and possibly closing schools with poor conditions and dwindling student populations. During nearly 2 hours of public comment, parents and students begged officials not to break up K-8 schools and voiced concern that the plan will bring more charter schools into the district. The district plans to hold community meetings for input on the plan from September 14th to October 17th. Following a successful fundraising campaign, Butler University is looking to the future. The Butler Beyond campaign raised $263 million, surpassing its stretch goal of $250 million. And President Jim Danko says planning is underway for a campus of the future that will feature noticeable improvements.
We're looking at even renovating the front of Hinkle in the next campaign, trying to find space for other entities, and including, as you mentioned, potentially a boutique hotel of some sort on campus. So just trying to really make the entryways into our campus, the perimeter of our campus, really rich and really make great connections to elevate this entire region.
Danko says demographic shifts mean the campus of the future will look differently when it comes to things like traditional on-campus living. Hoosiers and Rudy screenwriter Angelo Pizzo is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers majors in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.